All right, folks. Well, we are going to be listening to the Michael Cohen Trump interview. Some of you will remember that I told people not to trust Michael Cohen a long time ago when during Donald Trump's first criminal trial. Michael Cohen went live the day before he was the prosecution's key witness in that case with a shirt of Donald Trump and a jumpsuit. And I said then he didn't take serious consideration into how that would affect his testimony and obviously didn't care about holding Trump accountable. And that was the moment I knew for sure that Michael Cohen was a grifter. That's the moment that I knew that Michael Cohen wasn't to be trusted and that Michael Cohen is simply a grifter, Zionist grifter at that, but a grifter. And a lot of liberals were like, no, he's cool. He goes live on TikTok. He doesn't like Trump anymore. No, da 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 da. And as it turns out, I was right. Michael Cohen is, in fact, a grifter. So we're going to start this right away. Michael Cohen interviewing Trump. This is all for his little show, whatever it is, some show on 77 WABC. And basically, he's reconciled with Donald Trump. All reports say they've privately reconciled. I don't know if he's going to pretend to be hard on him in this interview. I doubt it. But we're going to take a listen to it. We're going to see how it goes. I would appreciate every single person in here right now hitting the thumbs up button. We're going to react to it live. Michael Cohen interviewing Donald Trump. They are apparently friends again. Liberals are outraged, but I've been saying this forever. Those of you that watch me pretty regularly know I was not a fan of Michael Cohen. I have friends that are, or at least were, pretty close to Michael Cohen for a while. One of the guys at Midas Touch that I'm friends with was friends with Michael Cohen and a couple other people. I'm not going to name their names because it doesn't matter. I don't want to throw them under the bus. Whatever reason they chose to be friends with him is fine. But, I've always thought he was no good. So, and I said it for a long time, don't trust him, he's a grifter. So I'm going to make a quick video on TikTok telling people that I'm over here on YouTube doing this so people can watch if they want. So hold on one second, everybody. Hey, guys, we are over on, let me see, sorry. Hey, guys, we're over on YouTube listening. Oh, my God. You guys are getting to see me do a video live here. Hey guys, we're over on YouTube listening to the Michael Cohen Trump interview. Yes, he interviewed Trump. Apparently, they've reconciled. I've always had opinions about Michael Cohen not being actually against Trump. But anyway, the rumor is, no, I got to start that over. That's too much. Guys, I am over on YouTube right now. Come on over. Same name. No, I can't say YouTube, right? I got to say Tube of You. Guys, we are over on the Tube of You right now. We are about to listen to the Michael Cohen interview. Apparently, Michael Cohen and Donald Trump have reconciled. I've long had opinions about Michael Cohen. Not really a huge fan. Going to listen to the interview. Apparently, they've reconciled. Disgusting, but we're going to listen to it live, so come on over and listen to it with us. Guys, we are over on the Tube of You right now. We are about to listen to the Michael Cohen. That's not good enough. Guys, we are live right now over on the Tube of You, about to listen to Michael Cohen interview Donald Trump. It just came out. So if you want to come over, we are live right now there. Same name. I have strong opinions about Michael Cohen, have for a long time. We're going to give the interview a listen and see what's what. I'm reacting live. Come on over now. Same name. Guys, we are live right now. Over on the Tube of You, about to listen to Michael Cohen interview Donald Trump. It just came out. Guys, we are live right now over on the Tube of You, about to listen to Michael Cohen interview Donald Trump. It just came out. So if you want to come over, we are live right now there. Same name. You know I have strong opinions about Michael Cohen, have for a long time. Okie dokie. Are you guys ready? Are you guys ready? Let me know if you're ready in the chat. We're going to be listening to this live. What the hell's going on here? Can everyone hear me? Why do I appear to be having issues here? Of course. Well, sorry, guys. All right. Sorry, I think I lagged there for a second or something. All right. So everyone's ready? Type 1 in the chat if you guys can hear me loud and clear before we start this. I would appreciate everybody hitting the thumbs up button and all that because, you know, as we're listening, it's only 20 minutes. Again, if you're just joining us, I have strong opinions about Michael Cohen. Not a fan. Have said for a long time he's a grifter. He's also a Zionist. But besides that, if you are a dedicated listener of mine on YouTube, on TikTok, you guys know that I was trashing him hardcore during Trump's criminal trial because he kept going live on TikTok and he was the prosecution's #1 witness. So he really threw a wrench into that whole thing. Could have really compromised the case. And, you know, I felt that really proved to me that he doesn't actually care about these issues. But, you know, the way it goes. So, and a lot of liberals attacked me then. They were showering him in gifts. And I can't get through to people to understand that if someone voted for Donald Trump, stop putting them on a pedestal. Cool. If they don't want to vote for Donald Trump, that's great. But they don't suddenly get to become political commentators and you to trust them, right? Like that's something that you need to, especially someone who got Trump elected. I guess it depends on, you know, case by case basis. But like this, like, trusting people immediately is ridiculous. This dude thinks I'm bald. Well, you must be new here, bro. I'm not bald. I actually have too much hair, but you're an idiot. You must be new here. All right, so we're going to listen to this interview. Here we go. This is President Donald Trump joining Michael Cohen on his 77 WABC radio.
I want to go back to 2016 if we can, because you and I have obviously traveled a pretty rocky road together. Do you remember, sir, when I went on CNN with Brianna Keeler and she told me that you were underwater in the polls?
Already kissing his butt.
And I responded with those famous 2 words, says who, which became some worldwide meme.
A good advocate, and then they weaponized you like nobody's ever been weaponized, like few have been.
Well, maybe just you and I, sir.
And you, yeah, me too, but I don't consider mine, mine was at a level that nobody's ever seen before. But they weaponized you, they weaponized a lot of people, and I respect the fact that you recanted everything you said, and that's a big thing that you did. That's a very big thing.
Sir, you may remember that following morning you called me into the office after, and then you gave me one of those traditional Trump slaps on the shoulder, and you said to me, F them. You're stronger than them. We've got this. Now, the funny thing is that CNN never apologized. They never retracted anything. And now, years later, CNN, MS Now, and the other left-leaning outlets, they're doing the exact same thing, constantly talking about you being underwater with favorability numbers. Mr. President, what do you say to these people who keep bringing up polls when you're not even running for office again? What's the point?
I'm not, and I think that we're doing really well in the polls, the real polls. If I were running today, I think I'd win by 25 points. I think we'd win by a lot. The economy has never been stronger. We're doing numbers that nobody's ever seen before. You take a look at what's going on with Venezuela. It was a one-day deal. It was actually a 48-minute deal. We had it was an attack where we took a truly bad person out of the country, including the wife, out of the country, and now standing trial. This was a very evil man. And the country, we are involved very much with the country, taking out millions and millions of barrels of oil, and that goes right into our treasury. We've done, the Venezuela was amazing. And now with Iran, they will never have a nuclear weapon. We're essentially controlling, and soon controlling the Straits. We're doing very well with Iran. The press doesn't like to say that, although a lot of the press does say it, because the Navy's gone, the Air Force is gone, the leadership is gone.
Lorraine,
part of the problem is so many of the leaders are gone. It's not easy to make a deal. Nobody knows who's leading. But I think the public sees what we're doing, because Iran can never have a nuclear weapon.
I bet everybody who ever sent this dork a gift or ever supported this guy feels real stupid right about now. I told you. Told you this dude couldn't be trusted. This guy's not even just a Trump supporter. This is a guy who got Trump elected. Like, this is one of the reasons Trump ever became a thing. Trump's fixer.
Weapon, very simple. And I think
it's amazing to me how quickly people forgive and forget this shit.
The public sees it, and I think they appreciate it and they respect it. And I tell them they'll be a little higher for your energy cost, but they'll be a little bit higher for gasoline. I had it down to $1.85 a barrel. And then I said, but we have to make a journey to the Middle East, because we can't let Iran have a nuclear weapon. And that's what happened. And we've been very effective. We've wiped them out, militarily wiped out. Now they have some missiles. They have some drones. Their capacity to build them is very low right now compared to what it was 5 months ago. It was 5 months ago they were knocking them out. Now it's very hard for them to knock out anything. They're in bad shape. They have inflation that's 300%. Their currency is valueless. It's
Christopher, thank you so much. Yeah, I appreciate it. It's not even necessarily about that. It's just the idea that, like, we put people who had connections to Trump, whether they voted for him or they were his fixer, like Michael Cohen, on this pedestal as if what they say about Trump is more important than people who have been advocating against him since the very beginning. It's ridiculous.
Virtually valueless.
Sure.
The military is not being paid. So they're in bad shape. But the reason I did it, and we had no choice, and I would have done it again 100 times, they cannot have a nuclear weapon, and they won't be having a nuclear weapon.
And why not just then turn around and tell the American people? The one thing that you may feel some frustration going on right now economically, the price of gas and so on, but why not just turn around and say to the American people, you know what you get to do? You get to go to sleep at night with knowledge that there will be no intercontinental ballistic nuclear missile being fired towards the United States. Because if they had it with their theocracy, sir, you know exactly what they would be doing right now.
So I do tell that. The press doesn't get it out, and I say it often. I said it the other day at a big rally I had with the police out on Long Island, and we have these unbelievable rallies. The rallies are potentially bigger than ever. I mean, if we did rallies, as an example, if we did rallies now, nobody ever had rallies like this. Their potential, I think they're bigger than ever. There's a great spirit for what's going on, especially in light of what's happening with all these crazy theories and policies and lunatics that are running. You have lunatics that would destroy the country, and they're being put in the Democrat Party. I think they'll be wiped out in the election because the people are too smart to allow that to happen. It's never worked. In 1,000 years, that stuff has never worked, and it's not going to work now. But they're not even smart people. You watch some of them, half of them can't even speak properly. So I think we're doing very well. We are letting people know about that. We're letting people know that, it's wonderful to say everything's good, but you can't. If you had a country like that, and they're crazy, if you had a country like that, they would absolutely use the nuclear weapon without question. And so I stopped that. And I stopped it cold with the B-2 bombers. I also stopped it, the JCPOA. That was the Obama deal. That was such a disaster that he made years ago. Had I not terminated that deal, Iran would have a nuclear weapon. And they would have used it very quickly. They would have wiped out Israel. They would have wiped out the Middle East. And you saw that because when this thing started, surprisingly to everybody, they started shooting missiles at sort of semi-neutral countries. They were going after Saudi Arabia, Qatar. They were going after UAE, Kuwait, Bahrain, and nobody really knew they were so involved. And they started hitting everybody. If they had a nuclear.
So everybody knows, this interview is there's about 15, 20, 17 more minutes left. Michael Cohen has made up with Donald Trump and is now interviewing him. And he really took the left and many people on the left by surprise. Not me, but not saying forever that he was full of crap and he was a grifter and all that shit. He also supports the war in Iran. But we're also going to take calls after this. So I'd appreciate keeping the live engaged, contributing to the gifting goal, hitting the thumbs up button, sharing the live so we can take calls immediately after this interview.
Nuclear weapon, they would have used it on everybody. And look, there would be no Israel if there was not a Donald Trump president.
I think there'd be no Saudi Arabia either.
Right now, I believe the Middle East would have been entirely wiped out, but Israel definitely would have been wiped out. There's no question. There would be. They tell me that there would be no Israel if there was no Donald Trump.
You know, what surprised me was how did they end up with 1,000 pounds of 60% enriched uranium when allegedly, whether it was under Biden, whether it was under Obama, whether it was under every president, how did they end up with literally 1,000 pounds of nuclear grade, well, or soon to be made nuclear grade enriched uranium?
So when we hit them with the B-2 bombers, which was an amazing attack, deep into the night with no moon, with no light, no nothing, and every bomb hit its mark and wiped their whole nuclear thing out. And it was, in fact, obliterated. But when we did that, people had no idea what to expect. No idea. You know, you're going in there, you're going into a very, very dangerous place with these incredible machines. And the job they did, the job those machines and those pilots did was really amazing.
Rory,
but
thank you for becoming
Obama
a tadpole, bro.
allowed that to happen. Biden allowed that to happen. Other presidents allowed that to happen. This should have been done. This has been going on for 50 years, and this should have been, it's been 47, but we talk about it for 3 or 4 years. It's actually, the number is 51 years. But we say 47 because that seems to be the standard number that everyone uses. But this was going on for 51 years now, and it should have been taken care of by other presidents or other countries, and it wasn't. And Iran became the bully of the Middle East. They were bullying everybody around. They were the boss. And bad things were happening, and they would have absolutely taken out Israel, and they would have absolutely taken out the Middle East. And I guess they would have shot at us too. But had they had nuclear weapons, if they had that capacity, it would have been different. Now, when we hit them with the B-2 bombers, they were exactly 2 weeks away from having a nuclear weapon, and that's why I had to do it, because you cannot let them have that kind of a weapon.
But
and,
you know, Mr. President, that's a time period that most people are completely unaware of. That it was the imminence was there.
Yep. Well, they knew it, but they forget it. You know, the one thing in politics, like the border. When I came in, the border, they allowed 25 million people, many of them criminals, many of them murderers, many of them people from mental institutions, drug dealers. They were pouring into our country totally unchecked and unvetted. I solved the problem in...
Hey, chat, what do you think so far? How do you like the ass kissing so far? I mean, my first question was, is he going to be so obvious with the ass kissing? Because that really is the thing, right? He's really grifted off the left for a while and as an anti-Trump guy. What do you think about the language so far? Now he's calling him Mikey, Mike, sir. Give me a break.
30 days and solved it beautifully in 60.
I told you, listen, this one's a little more obvious, but listen, from the beginning, I said this guy was no fucking good. Liberals just showered this dude in gifts on TikTok. Oh my God, he opposes Trump, blah, 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 blah. How many of you remember when I was trashing him during Trump's criminal trial? How many of you in here right now? There's only 200-something people in here right now, so I don't know if there's anyone in here, but those of you that were watching me on TikTok back before the election when Donald Trump's criminal trial was going on, and I was saying that Michael Cohen is a fucking grifter. And liberals were pissed. Like, why don't we have to accept people who no longer support Trump and this and that. Da, da, da. You remember, if you were in here, you fucking remember. You damn well remember how liberals were mad at me because I said that Michael Cohen is a fucking grifter. So this is somewhat satisfying for me to show people that, guess what? He was. I'm not saying you guys. People who follow me tend to be more left, dare I say radical, but those of you that watch me on TikTok know that not everyone that does is, right? Some people are more like liberal, and that's fine. They were pissed.
And at the end of 90 days, nobody comes in. In fact, we have now, as you know, because they issue reports, and they're not issued by me, in the last 16 months, 0 people came in through our horrible, what was horrible southern border, where it was just an open sieve. It was an open wound, and 0 people came in. So what happens, though, is
I do pretty much everything on my phone. Shopping, socializing.
Sorry, we have a commercial. I'll skip right over it.
Love my Northwest.
people forgot about that. They forgot we had a border problem. I got elected partially on the border.
For those of you wondering, too, this literally just came out 40 minutes ago, so you're listening to it brand new.
Yeah.
By the way, that happened 2 times. When I ran in 2016, I got elected on the border. It was bad. But it was never bad like this. This was crazy, where Kamala was the border czar, and she never spoke to the Border Patrol. She never went there. She was the border. She knew less about the border than a child would know. So I solved the border problem, and nobody even talks about it. I did things that, because in politics, I've found it's got a 2-week life. A victory has a 2-week life. You solve a problem that was, according to most, insolvable, and I did it literally in 30 days. But I solved the problem early on and beautifully. We have a great border right now. I mean, people come into our country, but they have to come in legally, and they do come in legally. But nobody comes through our southern border. Nobody. Literally, it's hard to believe, actually. 25 million people came in, including murderers and so many others, into our country, and we get them out. And we're getting them out.
So Michael Cohen doesn't at all correct that, right? Doesn't at all push back against that. I mean, Michael, you know that's not true, right? You've said it a million times on your own podcast that that's not true. And it's funny because I heard Michael Cohen talking about this earlier in the day, and he said, look, my opinions are not going to change. Whether I've reconciled with Trump or not, I'm still going to hold the positions I hold. Yet you're allowing the president to spew misinformation on 77 WABC without pushing back against him at all. You're full of shit, grifter.
But they came into our country, and I solved it. I solved the problem. And when I want to talk about it, experts, the so-called experts, if there's such a thing, they say, sir, nobody cares about the border. You solved the problem. They forgot. They don't talk about it. So when you remind people, they say, wow, the border was a real problem. It was probably the biggest thing talked about during the election. And I solved it quickly and effectively. And everybody admits that, including the Democrats. I watch the Democrats now apologizing. They're saying we should have done that. But there's a 2-week life to things, and it's a shame. But when people hear it and all of the things that we've done, we have more money being invested in the United States right now than at any time in the history of our country by a factor of 5. We're building more factories, plants. We are building factories for cars are moving in from, as you know, the factories from Canada, where they left for Canada, they left for Mexico.
McCohen's been around. He was signed by Midas Touch. Midas Touch signed him. I know a couple of the guys with Midas Touch. I was not happy about it. I thought it was disgusting. They fired him. They let him go. Apparently because of some of his support, his shifting in this Trump relationship thing, and they didn't want their name attached to it. At least that's what I heard. He's been around. He goes on TikTok still. He's been crashing out on TikTok because now even the liberals realize that he's a grifter. So they're calling him out now, like, oh, what the fuck? You switched up. But I'm telling you, he made a fortune playing this anti-Trump game, and it was all bullshit. I said from the beginning when he wore that, guys, so listen, in case you don't know, and you're not familiar with TikTok, okay, and you're not in the political TikTok commentary debater scene, Michael Cohen entered that scene, came in, started hosting lives. He actually held them at the same time I did in the morning, so I would hear about him. Oh, Michael Cohen's live, blah, 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 whatever. One morning when I was covering the Trump trial in depth every single day. Well, the morning before he was set to testify, he showed up on TikTok with a shirt of a picture of Donald Trump in an orange jumpsuit. Ha ha, funny, right? Liberals were laughing. Ha ha, he's going to put Trump in jail. He's the key witness in that case. Key witness. Now, he wasn't a part of Trump's gag order. So he's not technically legal legally not allowed to do that because he wasn't legally subject to the gag order. But the judge's order restricted Trump from attacking witnesses, jurors, court staff, prosecutors, family members, pretty much anyone associated with the trial. So then you have Cohen as the prosecution's key witness mocking him the day before he's set to testify. The prosecution came out and asked specifically, do not publicly discuss the case. What did Cohen do? Went on TikTok Live and did the same thing the next day and wore that shirt. That is disrespectful to the judicial system. It is disrespectful to the case, period. You clearly don't care about the serious nature of Donald Trump being held accountable here. This had a lot to do with was Trump going to get elected and all this stuff. And he's putting the case at risk as the prosecution's key witness by going on social media and wearing a shirt like that, mocking the defendant. Just a fucking grifter, and that's all he's ever been. And it pisses me off. I'm mad right now because I remember everyone. I remember liberals at the time attacking me. You don't give people a chance. It feels like you want to attack people for who they were previously, and we need to accept people onto our ship. Bullshit. Absolute bullshit. And I will never, ever, ever, ever give in to that. If someone voted for Trump, you need to consider who Trump was when they voted for him. They overlooked stuff in the beginning. This guy didn't just vote for him. He put Trump there. He was Trump's fixer. He buried Trump's negative stories. He helped Trump get elected. It's a good lesson for people. Stop putting people on a pedestal who suddenly decide they no longer support Trump. I don't know why we do this. Oh, they were connected to Trump at one time, so their word must mean more than those that never supported him? Listen to those that never supported him. They know what they're talking about. Not Michael Cohen, who supported him up until he was, till he got in legal trouble.
They left for Germany, Japan, South Korea. They're all coming back. Toyota just announced, Honda just announced, billions and billions of dollars are all pouring back. They're coming in, a lot of them are coming in from Mexico. People don't like to write that. They're coming in because of tariffs. We've made a fortune with tariffs, a fortune.
So, maybe, Mr. President,
making a fortune, Michael, it's brought people in because...
Hey, Jose, you keep saying in the chat, I'm glad you're mad because Biden weaponized the DOJ against Trump. You need to call in because I debate that regularly and I will absolutely dismantle your argument. So when this is over, make sure you have your phone ready.
Companies are coming in because they don't want to make a car in Germany or in Mexico and have to pay a 25% tariff because it doesn't work for them. So rather than paying the 25% tariff, it's very simple. Some people still don't understand it, but they're all building. And in the next year and a half, you're going to see buildings open, and you already see it in the construction numbers. The construction jobs in this country are through the roof, and that's because of all the plants and factories being built all over our country. There's never been, it's a renaissance. There's never been anything like it.
So maybe what we should do is then have a press conference and literally put out all of the accomplishments because what's happening.
Maybe we should have a press conference. Oh, my God. He is fully back on Trump's team. Maybe we should have a press conference. Oh, my God. This is worse than I could have imagined. I actually thought for a second he was going to try and play the middle and maybe push back against a couple of points. He's quite literally on his team. Maybe we should hold a press conference. And you know what? Trump will take him back too. Not because he wants his help, but because it makes the media look foolish. It makes the left look foolish. Look who you platformed, and now he's retracting every statement he ever made about me. He's retracting every negative thing he said about me. Now you look like you platformed somebody who lied. Trump wins again.
Grainger makes it easy to find and order the products.
Man. You literally can't make this shit up.
On the clock.
Boss, you remember when I was by your side?
Let's go back again just to hear this in full.
Never been. It's a renaissance. There's never been anything like it.
So maybe what we should do is then have a press conference and literally put out all of the accomplishments because what's happening. Boss, you remember when I was by your side?
He just called him boss. Dude, he went from sir to boss. Now he's calling him boss, folks. These are the words Trump likes to hear. Oh, my God. This is absolutely unbelievable.
Used to analyze the polls, right? And you remember how much attention that I used to pay to that methodology? I would come in, I would say to you, oh, they're claiming that you're 31%, that you're underwater, but I showed you that
the polls are crooked. The polls are...
Exactly.
So the reporters, as you know, are crooked, but many of them. You have some great ones, too, but for the most part, it's really dishonest.
But the sample
reporting.
size is roughly...
When you read the New York Times, it's so dishonest. When you read these things, and they're not doing... Well, look, the reason they're not doing well is because they've lost a lot of credibility. And now you do have great journalists, you do have great reporters also. Many people are very good, very, very good. I can name them, but by naming them, I'll leave some out. But you also have a lot of people that see how good things are with the economy is a renaissance. There's never been anything like it. We had the greatest economy ever in my first term. This is going to blow it away. This is just going to blow it away. And when these factories and plants and everything else are finished. But already, if you look at the jobs, we're bringing in chips into our country. We had no chips, nothing. We're zero. They got stolen from us.
Let me give a quick update for those just joining. Michael Cohen just interviewed Donald Trump about 45 minutes ago. It was released. You're listening to the brand new interview right now for the first time. It was just released on 77 WABC. Michael Cohen has a show there now. And yes, he interviewed Donald Trump. And yes, he is friendly with him. They've made up. So this is the interview that you're listening to. Yes, this is brand new.
And they were brought to Taiwan. Those companies are now all coming back. We're building the biggest chip plants in the world right now, mostly in Arizona. And we're going to have chips. We're not going to have to import chips anymore. It's amazing what's happening. Yeah. Medicine is coming back. We learned that from COVID because we didn't make medicine. We literally had to rely on Ireland and China and other places for the medical and the medicine. And they're all coming back. Eli Lilly's building 6 major plants. Merck is building. They're all building. Pfizer. They're building massive amounts of medical for pharmaceuticals and drugs of all kinds. And it's including medical equipment. The medical equipment business is through the roof because if they don't come back, they have to pay big tariffs if they make it in Germany or other places. So they're building it here. What's happening now is a miracle. I hope it gets properly reported.
So, Brittany, you say that AI companies are basically renting their computers from someone else. I don't understand.
I don't know what this is. What is this bullshit?
That I don't understand that world, and I'm
your administration.
So I'm assuming that's the end of the interview. Then I'm assuming that's the end of the interview. Yeah, looks like. My God, I don't even know what to say. That is absolutely disgusting. Well, Michael Cohen.
We've seen a dramatic.
Cohen went on MSNBC as well. I just want to see if I can pull this up really quick. Hold on 1 second.
We have two old friends separated by time, betrayal, and the world's biggest spotlight. It sounds like a movie preview for a summer blockbuster. Instead, it's a preview of an interview with the president, written by his former fixer, turned accuser, turned star witness, turned Republican outcast, Michael Cohen, himself a felon for making false statements. After years of sticking by Donald Trump's side, Cohen flipped and worked to try and take down the president in his hush money corruption trial. You remember that. Cohen's testimony was crucial in convicting Donald Trump on those 34 counts, which leaves us wondering, what does either of them gain from burying the hatchet? We want to bring in former White House correspondent Tara Palmieri. She is now the author of The Red Letter on
Substack. I mean, I can tell you that. I mean, it's pretty obvious for Trump.
Stack.
Thanks for having me, Peter, and congrats on the show.
Let's see if I can actually. I think he did an actual interview too. If I can pull that up. Let's see here. Well, either way. Either way, you guys get the gist. It's doesn't get worse than that. CNN's talking about it right now.
Yeah, me too, but I don't consider mine, mine was at a level that nobody's ever seen before. but they weaponized you. They weaponized a lot of people. And
Char City,
I
thank you.
respect
Yeah,
the fact
he's a
that you
bootlicker.
recanted
Yeah.
everything you said, and that's a big thing that you did.
So there it is, the man who wrote a book subtitled How Donald Trump Weaponized the U.S. Department of Justice Against His Critics now claims to believe that Donald Trump is actually just another
CNN
victim
right now.
just like him, and he's back to calling him boss. And if you're picking up on just a hint of lips brushing backsides, then listen to this.
The construction jobs in this country are through the roof, and that's because of all the plants and factories being built all over our country. There's never been, it's a renaissance. There's never been anything like it.
So maybe what we should do is then have a press conference and literally put out all of the accomplishments, because what's happening, boss, you remember when I was by your side?
Boss.
The conversation ended with the teaser for more to come over the weekend, and Cohen playing a clip of Peaches and Herb singing "Reunited," and it feels so good.
This is CNN right now in shock.
She says Michael Cohen reached out to her last year to ask for the president's phone number. Also, co-founder of the Lincoln Project, George Conway. Tara, as someone who regularly covers the president, I'm wondering what, if anything, stands out to you about this interview.
Well, they seem to be back to exactly where they were before. You heard the last word he said, boss. He's already working for him, and he's got another platform, WABC, in addition to his Substack following.
Oh, God.
He has a podcast. He has
Do I have a crystal ball, or
do
am I just fucking like
Trump.
the
yeah,
only
like you
sane
mentioned,
person
14
with a
months ago
microphone?
in June,
Jesus
Michael
Christ.
Cohen reached out to me because he saw that I called the president doing reporting, and he asked me for his number, and he said to me, Tara, I know him better than anyone else. I think I can get back on his good side. And I was completely flabbergasted. I was like, what is going on here? And obviously, it was about a pardon. It's always been about a pardon for him, right? I mean, he was angry at Biden for not giving him a pardon. He said before Biden left office, I'm somebody's son too, because he was angry that he pardoned.
That's
Hunter.
part.
But
I mean, it's
was just
probably
like,
a
you can get the number
side
from anyone
benefit,
else.
but
And
it's about money.
A lot of journalists and other people had it, so I just gave it.
Listen, it's no longer profitable. Everyone knows Trump sucks now, right? So it's harder to grift, right? People don't necessarily aren't everyone knows, right? It's not the cat's out of the bag. Everyone knows Trump's full of shit. Now you can go back to grifting the right again on a podcast there. All right, so the phone lines are open. You said I'm wrong. Trump supporters, go ahead, call in. Tell me why I'm wrong. Let's hear it. Jose said, Adam is a paid-for Democratic propagandist. Never have I been paid by the Democrats. Democrats have never paid me a dime. Voters do. Voters support me, but that's it, Jose. So why don't you call in right now? Why would Democrats pay me when I criticize them on a regular basis? On a regular basis. Like, I don't understand why they would pay me. But understand this, Jose. You're scared to call in. And that's really what fucking matters. You're terrified. Sheffy, thank you for the $5 super chat. Appreciate you. Jose, why don't you give a call in right now? In fact, I got to set this up. I'm sorry. This is not. Oh, no, it's back up. 908-652-3703. Go ahead. But you won't, Jose. You won't pick up your phone and do it because you're scared. Call in. Jose's terrified to call in. He's fucking terrified. 210 Rain Christopher says DNC protest payment GS. Listen, George, you can't do that through super chats. Otherwise, people fucking, then they know. Then now you just substantiated what Jose said, George. Why would you do that? Now you just substantiated what he said, George. Why in the world would you do that? No, I really just wanted to come live tonight to make sure I played that interview. I thought it was it's satisfying for me just to show that he was full of shit. 778, what's going on?
I just wanted to call Jose a little bitch for not coming up.
Yeah, Jose's scared. I mean, listen, you know what I mean? It's
terrified.
He's terrified, so thanks for calling in, bro.
Thanks for doing what you do.
Thanks. Jose, you heard it. listen, the audience wants you to call in, but unfortunately, Jose, you're afraid to do so because you know I'm going to dismantle your argument about weaponized indictments. You said, I can't prove anything Trump did. I actually can. And that's why people want you to call in, because they've seen me debate that before, and you will, in fact, lose. So why don't you call in really quick? We'll find out whether or not you're aware of what Trump did, and then we'll go through the evidence, and we'll talk about why those cases were dismissed and whether or not it was due to lack of evidence and whether or not those Donald Trump obstructed justice in the documents case, whether he defrauded the United States, the people of the United States, whether or not he's guilty of racketeering in the state of Georgia. Christopher, thank you, says the DNC would like to say W caller. W caller, DNC, thank you. But can you not announce yourself as the DNC? Really weak show, the video of Letitia James running on going after Trump. Jose, I'm not debating you from the chat. So I don't debate from the chat. If you're scared to call in, that's fine. I didn't start this show as a debate show. I started this show to play Michael Cohen being a bootlicking grifter, which I've always accused him of being. It's very satisfying for me to be able to prove that. But I'm not going to debate you from the chat. It's just, there's no point in debating you from the chat. It makes no sense. It's not a thing. You understand? Diane, thank you so much for the Venmo. Said, sorry, it's not more. Thank you. Diane, I really appreciate the support on Venmo. I do, Diane. Thank you so much. I appreciate you. In fact, I probably should put this here. I mean, I wanted to, be wrong about Michael Cohen. I really did. Because I knew that, people were supporting him, and I don't want to see people get fucked over. But it's a good lesson for people. Stop supporting people who used to vote for Trump. I mean, just straight up, stop doing it. I mean, if you voted for Trump in the very beginning, you overlooked some really harmful facts. And can people change? Yep, they can. That doesn't mean they should be political commentators telling the left what to do politically. That's dangerous. Because then when they flip or they decide to go back to their old self, right, then what? Now they have an audience that they've established using left-wing talking points, right? So all the left is following them, and now they're subject to their propaganda. That's dangerous. It's all hell. Charcity, thank you, said the DSA would like to express their support of what you do. Well, it'd be more believable if it was the DSA. They keep saying Democrats, but if it was the DSA, it'd be a more believable conspiracy. I'm dying to hear Jose's proof. He will never call. He will never call. Jose, I'll just mute you, right? It's that simple. You're scared to call in. It's that simple. So if you say one more dumb thing and you don't call in and actually have a conversation with me, I'll just mute you. Was Midas saying? Midas let him go already, so they're not going to comment on this, I don't imagine. They're not going to comment on this. I posted a video on Instagram calling him a Zionist grifter before this interview even came out earlier. So, I mean, and that's exactly what he is. And that's exactly what he always will be. And the unfortunate reality is that video will get suppressed because I said Zionist grifter, but I'm not going to change what I said. That's what he is. That's exactly what he fucking is. And that's what he's always been. And there's more than that exists, unfortunately, on the left. But the sad reality is people on the left, for some reason, especially liberals, they just fall for the bullshit. Oh, yeah, this person was a Trump supporter 2 fucking years ago. Oh, yeah, but no, they changed. And now they're what? We put them on a pedestal? What the fuck? It's insanely stupid. I never supported Donald Trump, never would support Donald Trump. Donald Trump was a trash the first time he ran. He's trash now. And people need to stop supporting people who did. Jose's not going to call in. He's terrified. He's absolutely fucking terrified. He's absolutely terrified. Hey, boss. I can't get over that. Hey, boss. Boss, remember, boss, should we hold a press conference, boss? Boss, should we hold a press conference, boss? Yeah, boss. What do you think, boss? You think we should do that, boss?
Want to protect
Fucking embarrassing. Republicans will accept him back with open arms, too, because they're so desperate.
President Trump tonight, a shocking political reunion. President Trump and his former fixer, Michael Cohen, back together after years as bitter enemies.
Hello, Michael.
Cohen now hosting the president on his new radio show, a man he once praised as
generous, compassionate, principled, empathetic, kind, humble, honest, and genuine.
Even telling Vanity Fair in 2017 he would, quote, take a bullet for the president.
Michael Cohen is a very talented lawyer.
But their relationship soured as Cohen faced intense scrutiny from federal investigators, with the FBI raiding his office and hotel room and seizing multiple devices and documents in 2018, leading to prison time after Cohen pled guilty to tax evasion, bank fraud, and campaign finance violations.
Somebody in the chat said my mic is too low. My mic's definitely not low, Ella. I'm not sure what's wrong with your thing, but it's definitely not on my side. You guys can hear me fine, right? I'll double check. You should be able to super chat. Seems like everybody can. I'm not sure, Ella, though, but it might be something on your end. Might have to turn your volume up or something. Somebody up here said the problem is, can the country survive Trump? It's possible we can't. So here's what I'll say. Our democracy is going to be tested like it's never been tested before come the midterms. Whether or not we can survive that remains to be seen. There's going to be things, unprecedented things that happen during the midterms. There are going to be things we've never seen before. Federal government is probably going to have a presence at polling locations, I would imagine. I would imagine we're going to have elections contested. At the very least, there's going to be, a dust-up surrounding the midterms. And so I think that it's possible that we make it out okay, but I think it's also possible that we don't. So yeah, it's going to be a nail biter for sure. And people need to make sure that they get out and vote and they participate, because without participation like we've never seen, I can promise you we stand no chance. So we need to make sure that we vote. We have our people for the most part, and we need to make sure that the number one priority needs to be making sure that this regime is gone. That is the number one priority. I think anything's possible at this point. I think anything is possible at this point. I don't think there's truly a thing that I would say is impossible, because I think this administration would do just about anything to make sure they don't go to prison. And that is the legitimate consequence of losing the midterms. It is not an if, right? It's a when. If they lose the midterms, they will stall out this administration for the remainder of his term, and they will look to prosecute those who broke the law, and that there's no doubt about it. So for them, it's life or death. Do you think this could lead to a civil war? So I think that that is a possibility, unfortunately. I don't know if a civil war looks like it has traditionally, but I do think that we could see a complete breakdown of our democratic system. Adam, what a fucking ride this has been. Hope we make it. I hope we make it too. I can't guarantee that, though. It would be, I'm not even sure that I think that we have better than 50% odds. I think that we are in a really, really bad predicament. And I think that this administration is going to work very, very hard to make sure that Democrats don't have the votes. Illusion of choice, thank you so much. If we lose, Trump is free. If we win, they'll attack. So that's the other possibility, right? If Democrats do win, what do they do then? Yeah, I mean, that's what I mean. I think the possibilities are endless. I don't think Trump has a history of laying down under any circumstances, win or lose. So I do think that we are in a really tough spot, and I think it's going to be ugly regardless. It may be ugly and then ultimately get better, or it may be ugly and ultimately get worse. So I just think that saying one thing is going to happen or another thing's going to happen, that would be dishonest, because, again, I don't know what direction they're going in. But I do know for sure that they're going to attempt to interfere to some degree. All you have to do is listen to the counterterrorism press conference when Stephen Miller and Marco Rubio got on, national television and said they wanted to prosecute the left side of the political spectrum as a whole. That the left is dangerous. Not the far left, the left. These leftists, I think was the terminology. Well, they can attempt to, but that doesn't mean that's going to happen. Okay? And to say Dems take Zion money too, we're not talking about that. Democrats have been electing people who don't take Zion money, as a matter of fact. So Democrats are the one party that have been electing candidates who don't take AIPAC money. So, and that's the side that I'm on. So, i.e. Abdul Al-Sayed, right? We've seen elections, Colorado District 1. We've seen Florida recently, Angie Nixon. There's a lot of people out there that are getting elected that do not or refuse AIPAC money or AIPAC adjacent organizations money. Cooper says, "Coward, I'm in Australia laughing at you." I don't know what you're talking about, Cooper. You're laughing at what? Who called you a coward? Yeah, that's unfortunate, Catch, but I don't know that they pay attention on the same level. All right, Austin Taz, no one cares. Do you realize that does absolutely nothing? Guys, Austin Taz wants you to support me. He just said in the chat, Austin Taz, who happens to be a PDF file, he said, "Hey guys, please support this guy. He's the smartest guy on the planet because he hates Trump." Thank you, Austin Taz, for your support. Austin Taz wants you to hit the thumbs up button. He's a Trump supporter. He wants you to hit the thumbs up button. He's really mad about the fact that I'm speaking out against his orange Jesus. The little Fuentes protege is lost in Florida. So if you're talking about protege, you're talking about Fisher, or Fishback, rather. Yeah, he had no chance of winning from the very beginning. By the way, he also shifted his political position only to run for this election. He was actually a Zionist before that. So, James Fishback, or whatever his name is, yeah. Those guys never have any shot. He wasn't even truly a nationalist the way that he portrayed. So he couldn't even pick up the white supremacist vote. Yes. Yes, Austin Taz is Antifa. Austin Taz, hi. This guy's talking bad about Trump. I'm going to yell across the holler and get my friends to kick his ass, Seabass. That reminds me, has Mike Lindell conceded yet? I don't think so, but who cares? Mike Lindell, actually, if you guys don't know, Mike Lindell claimed the election was stolen. He literally did the exact same thing Trump did. Trump is the best president, says Rebecca. Why don't you call in? 908-652-3703. Come on, I don't have that much time if you're going to call in today. I know once we start out the live listening to an interview, we don't get on the algorithm, and it's very hard to get back on it. Cooper says, by the way, not a Trump fan, just not delusional. Everyone was scared of how liberal the world was getting, so they changed it, and none of you can admit that. I don't think you know what the word liberal means. I don't think you know what the word liberal means. You should look up the word liberal. 210 Rain Christopher says, bro, I made duck breast for the first time tonight. It's good. I've had that before. With orange zest. I've had it before. It's, I don't know. It's easy to dry out. I'm reading comments, Wes. Millet Kiros, I phone banked for. Yeah. You're talking about Colorado District 1 was Millet Kiros, right? You're talking about Colorado? Some lost, some DSA people, but again, like and again, Angie Nixon's DSA too. When you see a DSA candidate win in Florida, that means you're gaining ground. That's the American people fighting back. And I think they have a good shot of winning the general, too. Like, I think Abdul Al-Sayed's going to win his general, although he's not DSA. But he is a progressive. He's still pro-capitalism, but he's a progressive anti-APAC candidate. Here's the thing. These guys are fine with politicians sending all of our money to Israel, and we're advocating for money to be spent here to help them, and they're advocating against us. Like, think about that.
Call from.
We're over here advocating that money be spent here on you to help you. Hello, are you a Trump supporter?
Yes, I am, sir.
You're not Jose in the chat, are you?
No.
Oh, that sucks. I wanted this guy Jose to call in. What's up?
Well, I just wanted to let you know that, woo, Ric Flair.
Wow, a grown man called in, scared shitless to debate me and said, woo, Ric Flair. It's a grown man, by the way. That wasn't a kid. That was like a 55-year-old man. Pathetic. So normalizing wrongthink says, let's see here. He says, Antifa are homeless scum. Dude, do you know what Antifa is? Antifa means to be anti-fascist. Why are you... What? Was that supposed to be funny? In his mind, it was. In his mind, it was. Okay. In his mind, it was hilarious. He absolutely owned me. Dude, I called into Adam Cray's show and I literally fucking said woo Ric Flair last night. He didn't know what to do with himself, bro. He was mad confused. Yeah, he didn't even know what to do, man. The right is the most unfunny group of people. They really are. Like, I gotta say, people on the left are so much more, like, entertaining and funny. People on the right are just boring. Let's see. Normalizing wrongthink. Why don't you call in, bro? Let's have a conversation. You have some strong opinions. Communism. Oh, you don't like communism. Call in, normalizing. Call in. Antifa's homeless people. Antifa is homeless people. That's what it means. Means you're homeless. All right, normalizing. Trump doesn't care about you, bro. I promise you, he hates you. He wouldn't let you sleep on his doormat, but keep thinking he's your buddy. I promise you he doesn't care about you. The right says horrible things and they think it's funny. Yes, they do. Wes can call in too, but he's scared, right? Or maybe he just can't have a conversation with that straw in his mouth. Maybe that's it. I don't know. Wes, just call in. No one cares about your nonsense in the chat. Just call in. Amy Cat with the $9.99 super chat says the right is too busy being bigoted and racist to be funny. No, that's what they think is funny, Amy, right? They're not creative enough to be funny without using slurs, right? They have to be racist in order to be funny. It's shock jock shit, shock value, right? Shock value is not funny. There are people that do that kind of comedy, that kind of entertainment. It's called shock jocking, where you shock people, right? And that's supposed to make them laugh. Well, if you can't be funny without being a bigot, it means you're not funny. You know, it's that simple. I just think it's funny that the right is in here like arguing they're patriots while we're arguing for money to be spent in the United States on American citizens, and they're voting for money to be sent to Israel. Like, I think that's fucking hilarious. You know, that makes that like that is absolutely hilarious. We're patriots.
Call from
We want our money sent to Israel. What's your first name?
Wesley.
Oh, you're Wes in the chat there.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Why do you
What's
support
up?
Trump?
Said call in, so I called in. What's up?
Yeah, why do you support Trump?
Who said I did?
Who'd you vote
You,
for?
you jumped to a conclusion. I didn't vote because it was Nazi of the neoconservatives versus neo-Nazis of the neoliberals. Just like your mother and father warned you, who fought in World War I and World War II. So don't sit here and
I'm not old enough
propagandize
for my father to have fought in World War
Okay,
II.
your grandfather then. Your grandfather
My
then.
grandfather did fight in World War II. You're right.
Okay, so you just because you've forgotten it about what's really going on with your dissociative amnesia about what you've done to what has happened in society and what is really going on. You know, like the forgotten generation. You remember them? The forgotten generations
Yeah,
of Gen X's and the millennials?
Sure.
What did they forget? What did they forget? What did they forget, dude? What did they forget?
Bro,
and what did they
calm
create that is
down.
forgetting?
Wesley, you're very nervous. I can hear you shaking right in your voice.
It's
Calm
not
down.
nervous.
We're just having
It's
a
not nervous.
conversation. You are nervous.
It's not
Calm
nervous.
down.
It's not
We're just
nervous.
having a conversation. There's nothing to be upset about. Okay.
It's not
so
nervous.
Nazism, right,
It's-
is a version of fascism that falls
Oh,
under
okay.
the right side of the political spectrum, right?
No, that's completely
Can you
incorrect.
give me an example
just-
of left-wing racial hierarchy?
Totalitarianism.
That's a right wing. That's a right wing.
That's not a right wing.
Yes,
that's
yes.
what
it
is the right? What
Yes,
is
it
right wing? What is right? Then define right wing,
Fascism.
please.
Fascism.
No, that's just the ambiguous word.
Okay, tell me.
Right wing.
give me-
Right wing. Define
watch,
right wing.
Watch, I'll prove
Define right
Watch,
wing.
I'll prove it. Give me a tenet of fascism specifically. Give me 3 tenets of fascism.
Oh, you're gonna make me.
I'm going to make you prove that you know what fascism is.
Fascism is a form of totalitarianism. They are all forms of totalitarianism, which is the total control of taking control of everything slowly and surely to take control of the people away from them. That's fascism. You can do it in a million different ways. You can do it in 100 million different ways. It doesn't matter that you call it fascism or you call it Marxism or you call it socialism or you call it totalitarianism or you call it capitalism.
Okay, so
it doesn't matter.
You're confusing. You're confusing 2 different things. You're talking about.
No, I'm not.
You are. You're talking about a governing method, right? And I'm talking about a particular ideology or a movement that uses that particular type of rule, right? Fascism.
All right, that particular rule of fascism.
Okay.
The fascism. Fascism. Hold on.
Finish. Do you you understand, right? Like, for instance, do you know what Stalinism is?
Developed by Stalin in
You're saying
Russia.
totalitarian, right? That's not fascism, right?
It's a form of
classified as
fascism.
totalitarian, but it's rooted
Right.
in what specifically?
The Democratic Socialist Party of Workers, developed by Adolf Hitler.
No.
The Democratic
So
Socialist Party.
You're collapsing
the
broad
Democratic
category into one specific
the
ideology.
the democracies of
Totalitarianism
Rome
describes-
and Sparta
Hold on.
of the Socialist Party of
Totalitarianism-
Germany. That is literally what you're calling. They're calling themselves. So you're sitting there saying things that don't add up, and they're literally using the same words and then
Brother.
calling other people fascists.
Brother, that's not
You-
true. I'll explain it if you'll calm down.
You-
Okay. So
You don't have to calm down. You don't have to tell me to calm down.
You
Please
do.
don't tell me to calm down.
Sir,
Please don't tell me to calm down.
It's going to be all right. Now, listen, we're just having
It's
a
not-
conversation. I'm trying to explain.
Okay,
to
so when you say calm down.
this is a very common mistake. Hold on 1 second.
Oh, no, it's not. It's a very common mistake for you.
So you're
Because
collapsing a broad category into one specific ideology,
All
right?
right. So you're gonna tell me
totalitarianism describes a method of state control. Fascism is a very distinct ideology that's ultranationalist, authoritarian, that can also be totalitarian. All fascism is authoritarian, right? Classic fascism seeks total control, but not derived from fascism seeks total control. You're correct, but not every totalitarian regime is fascist. Stalin was a totalitarian, but that doesn't make him a fascist. Do you understand? Understand the nuance here, okay?
Who cares?
Okay, well that's fine. If you don't want to have a conversation,
it doesn't really matter. I'm just saying
listen to me.
It's like saying
fascism is
you have 12.
Fascism is an ideology. Okay,
that came from deriving from the authoritarian system built off of Kant's ideology.
No, but what I'm trying to explain to you is that fascism is authoritarian and often totalitarian in aspiration. But you can't say every fascist regime was equally totalitarian in practice. I'm trying to explain this to you in the nicest possible way. You're starting to get under my skin. I don't think you fully understand that fascism is an
you're going to tell me I don't understand what Nazis are. Sir,
Nazism is a type of fascism. Provide me 4 tenets of fascism as a distinct, particular ideology.
I don't take in garbage that just creates more garbage. So why do I care about what... Look, you want to know why I don't? Here, I'll tell you why I don't. This 6'3", blonde-haired, blue-eyed trust fund man of Prussian and German descent who knows all about the Nazis and what they did, because I literally have hair. What do you mean? What am I talking? I'm talking about me. It's in my blood, dog. So you're telling me that I don't know what fascism is, and I don't know what this stuff is. I literally know what it is because my family.
So you know more than me. I've been studying it for years. You can't give me 4 tenets. Give me 4 tenets of fascism.
I don't care about fascism. I don't care. I don't care.
You're conflating 2 things.
You're telling me to calm down.
Fascism has specific tenets. Specific tenets is what I'm trying to
do.
Just because a regime...
then name them. Then name them.
Then
name them. You're asking me to...
I'm trying to explain it to you. Ultranationalism, right? Ultranationalism, and they're authoritarian. Totalitarian is an aspiration rather than saying every fascist regime was equally totalitarian in practice. I'm trying to explain to you, right, that you are collapsing a broad category into one specific idea. No, I'm not, because I know what fascism is and you don't.
Yes,
okay,
you don't.
Give me 4
no, you don't. No, you don't. Okay, because you're going... Okay. Here's the your ideology and where it's collapsing on itself. See, because you've taken Kant's ideology which they based their ideology on, and turned it into an ultra nationalistic thing where it wasn't meant to be an ultra nationalistic thing. It was just, you take care of yourself because you should be able to take care of yourself. But see, you don't want to be able to take care of yourself. You don't want your kids to be able to take care of themselves. You don't want your families to be able to take care of themselves, because that's abusive. You don't want this country to take care of itself by itself for itself, because that's oppressive to other people. And I've heard this my entire life, dude.
I've heard this. You said totalitarian. That's a form of government. That's a political system that seeks total control.
I literally just gave you the definition of authoritarianism.
Totalitarianism operates through an official ideology, right? You don't understand the difference between fascism, communism, and totalitarianism, which is a type of government. What is fascism?
A communistic.
Okay, excuse me. What is fascism?
It's a horrible form of government.
You don't.
There are many of them.
You don't.
Who cares?
know.
Who cares? I don't want to know. I don't care. What does it matter?
So,
in the grand scheme of things, what does it matter? What does it matter?
I'll explain.
What is your point of you telling me that I don't know?
Because fascism,
then,
specifically.
Okay, again, you don't know this. You don't know this.
Okay.
I don't know that. What don't you
Can
you
I
know?
finish speaking, please? Appreciate it. Right? Like I don't like you're really losing your. Okay. So like for instance, I tried to give you examples that defeat the claim that you're making, right? Nazi Germany was fascist and totalitarian. Stalin's Soviet Union was totalitarian, but not fascist.
And communistic.
But again, it justifies its rule through a different ideology rather than ultranationalist fascism. So just because one is fascist does not mean you're totalitarian. Fascism is not totalitarianism, okay? If we say fascism is just totalitarianism, that erases the reason we need to separate these words.
A lot of fascism is based off of propaganda.
Fascism, guy, again, you're confusing a government principle and an official ideology. They're two different things. One is a form of government and one is an ideology. I'm talking about fascism. Fascism. Trump is fascist. Fascist doesn't occur on the left side of the political spectrum. You said it did. I'm explaining to you the difference between fascism and totalitarianism.
Left.
That's totalitarianism, which is a type of government rule, not fascism. Fascism is a particular authoritarian, ultranationalist ideology. Calling them identical is like saying dictatorship and communism are identical. Okay? Some communist regimes were dictatorships, yes, but dictatorship is not the entire ideology. And if you don't understand the distinction, then you need to
define left
stop
and right.
talking.
Then define left and right.
What do you mean?
You say left wing and you left and right. Define left and right. You keep saying that
right
everything.
So the right specifically means conservative, right? Often associated with conservative values. Okay.
Okay, and where does that stem from? Because that's the political ideology that stems from something else that's underneath it. What's underneath it?
What do you mean something that's underneath it? What does that mean?
Okay, what
does that question mean?
What you're saying? What the conservative ideology that you're saying, it has a root that is underneath that supports it.
Yes,
that is based off of what is right
and markets, limited government.
Keep going.
National identity, right? National identity is definitely what. Yes, it is.
No,
you're saying national identity isn't a right.
I'm not.
Ideology.
I'm saying you're not going in the correct direction. You're still looking at it through a only political ideology that right and left is only political.
What? Say that again.
Well, it's not. You look at right and left like it's only political. Left for her because I know you don't know what it means.
Yeah,
I know you don't because most people don't know because it's not taught anymore.
No,
literally, it's not taught anymore. Left for her, right for him because
you know about this. Like you're way too arrogant
right for him. Right for him because he stands on the right because men are always right. That's the ideology and derogatory thing men used to say.
Orientation associated with right-wing ideology, conservatism, preserving or valuing institutions, traditions, authority, things like that. Yes.
Right wing. So
but what's the far right
triggering
wing?
Thing that you just
what's
said?
The far right wing? There's a difference, right? But because it's a spectrum. So what is the far right wing? It's much more narrow. What is the far right wing? Because this is then when we start talking about authoritarianism.
That are very
you don't know
triggering.
What you're talking about.
No, I don't. I know exactly what I'm talking about,
what's
sir.
Far right wing then? I gave you right wing. Tell me what far. Give me the clean distinction of far right wing and right wing.
Far right would be extremism. That's all it is, because there's no difference between far left and far right. Because it just makes a big circle.
So
because everything is just a big circle. Because everything is just a matter of perspective. So when you call what you call right wing, the right wing is going to call left wing, and what you call left wing, the right wing is going to call right wing. So, like, it's just a matter of perspective.
No, it's not. It's literally.
Yeah, it is. It is literally a matter of perspective.
No,
there is no left. There is no right.
Clean distinctions between these definitions.
In your mind.
No.
In your ideology. In your own head.
So wait.
Because it's all dissociative.
Really?
Because you've dissociated what definitions mean what. You've dissociated socialism with communism. You've dissociated fascism with socialism. I didn't. When I say you, it's ambiguous. When I say you, it's ambiguous, not specific.
Okay. But the point I'm making is that you're saying words don't have definition. I'm asking you, right? Specifically, right?
I didn't say they didn't have it. I said they got.
Can you provide me what the clean distinction between right-wing conservative, far-right is?
Right now or in history?
I'm asking you the political spectrum currently. There is a narrow extreme category that's associated with right-wing ideology.
I don't ideology.
So then why are you trying to argue with someone who knows? All you're doing is
Who said you know?
I do.
Because you don't.
I just gave you right-wing ideology. Don't know. Are you arguing? Okay, I said conservatism and preserving or valuing
then what is a left
institutions,
left for liberal, right for conservative?
When
the extreme left would be a neoliberal, a extreme right would be a neoconservative.
No,
yes.
So wait,
because we're crossing into new barriers that we've never seen before. Thus. Things are happening that have never happened before.
Then give me
you tell me to calm down.
Give me the distinction
you tell me to trigger me.
Democrat. Give me the distinction between a liberal and social democrat. Do social democrats believe in communism?
Social democrat. So are we going to go into the infinite propaganda of the neoliberals from the neo-Nazis of Operation Paperclip and Operation
Party stands for?
It's always in flux and it changes depending on who's in party. It does. That's what it does.
No, it's not.
It's changed 4 times in my life.
It's not.
So
Do you think there's a distinction between socialism and democratic socialism?
No.
Okay, you're wrong.
Because there isn't.
Is there a distinction?
Because there really isn't.
So now I ask
because there really isn't.
So now I ask you.
Yes, there are subtle changes, but there are subtle differences, but they don't really matter.
There's distinct changes.
They don't really matter.
Can you tell me the specific difference between socialism and communism?
Again, don't know how many times I have to say it. I don't care because none of them matter.
So this is why you're where you are, because all you're doing is because you're just bundling all these things together as one without understanding they have clear distinctions to better understand the political spectrum and where each person or party lies on that spectrum. That's why you don't fully understand.
And what does that matter? And why do I need to understand
Because when you use words like totalitarianism, right, and fascism as the same thing.
You use fascism. I just said they're all forms of totalitarianism. Which you already agreed to.
They're not all Guy, I just fucking explained it to you. You said they're all totalitarian. I just explained it to you. I literally gave you specific examples. Please tell me you listened to what I said. Nazis were fascist and totalitarian. Was Stalin's Soviet Union totalitarian?
Yes.
Were they fascist? No. No.
Sir, I just said they're all forms of totalitarianism.
No,
and you
they're
just proved
not.
It again.
Totalitarianism is an aspiration,
so you just said
not an ideology. Totalitarian is a type of government
and you just said fascism was also totalitarian, and then you said I'm wrong.
Guy, do you understand? Fascism is fascism is an ideology. Totalitarianism is not. Okay.
Okay.
It is a form of government.
I don't care. Let's change the subject because we're not going to ever.
So why didn't you
come to any kind of agreement?
Well, I'm right and you're wrong, and I know a lot more than you do about this subject. But that's besides the point. Can you tell me why you didn't
only
vote?
In your head.
You're a non-participant.
Why didn't you vote?
I think anyone who knows what they're talking about knows I'm right.
Because I voted for Christ. So
you voted for Christ. Did you actually go and submit a vote for Christ?
Yeah, when I baptized myself and dedicated myself to do things His way.
So you didn't participate in our election system. Okay, I got it.
Yeah. The votes don't matter. The Electoral College says they don't matter. They've never mattered. So because Electoral colleges can just sit there and say, you know what, I don't agree with the public vote,
Laura,
and
thank
bye.
you, Laura, thank you.
That's all they have to do.
I think participating.
They can.
No, I think participating is like your civic duty, but it's okay. You didn't vote because you know.
I don't have to.
Yeah, I didn't say you did, but I'm just saying, like, you're
I
a
know.
participant. I hope you're okay with that title because that's what you are.
I literally called myself that and admitted it readily, so I'm pretty sure I'm okay with that.
Perfect. Fine. That's fine. Well, this conversation is not going to go anywhere, but you might want to look up, is totalitarianism an ideology or a form of government?
Let's talk about, if we're going to talk about the votes, let's talk about the votes.
Make sure when you look
Let's talk about the votes first. We were just talking about who we were voting for. Let's talk about that. Okay. We were going to vote for.
You didn't vote. I don't need to defend my vote to someone who didn't vote.
I'm not. I'm just asking questions.
Oh, but you didn't vote. Why would I argue my vote with someone who didn't even participate?
I'm not.
There's nothing
for
me
vote.
to go after.
I'm just asking you. I'm not asking you to argue your vote. I'm asking you to argue both votes.
So I would argue that.
I didn't.
Cool. So I can argue that.
Why did we have? We had two votes. We had two votes.
I can argue
vote
that
for pedophile Kamala Harris and her dissociative identity of transgender.
Whoa, wait a second.
Pedophile Donald Trump.
Whoa. Wait a second. Now you're going to be asked.
Identity disorder.
Now you're going to be asked to
dissociative identity disorder.
Now you're going to be asked
dissociative.
And I'm going to ask you now to
dissociative identity.
Now I'm going to ask you to substantiate your claim about Kamala Harris. So we're
dissociative identity disorder.
We're going to need some
dissociative identity disorder is a transgender.
That has nothing to do with children. Do you have proof? Prince Cub. Thank you so much,
let's
Prince
see here.
Cub.
Let's see here. What was the 4D chest you talked about?
I'll wait for the source. That she's a PDF.
You wait for the source?
Yeah, because you're not going to defend.
You wait for the source?
No,
let's see here. Let's see here. This would be Stacey Plaskett working with the feminist movement, aka the 4D chess, aka working with the pedophile. Who was that? Oh, right, Epstein.
Okay. So
just like Dr. John Money. Just like wait. Just like we told in Zootopia 2.
Conspiracies. We're not interested.
It's not a conspiracy. It's literally. She literally got text messages.
Do you have proof?
Okay, so your projection, your literal projection of your projection, your projection, your psychological projection.
You're using
your
words you don't know the definition
I do know what they are. I didn't say you. See, there you go. You
just said your projection, Muppet.
Your, as in ambiguous.
What?
I already.
You said your. What do you mean?
Your
ambiguous?
projection.
You just said your.
The projection that y'all are projecting onto everyone, all over everything, and then acting like everybody else is making stuff up that never happened. Why does that sound familiar? Oh, right, you're dissociative amnesia. You forgot.
No, you're
projecting. I'm a goof. I'm a goof.
You're
right,
saying
so
your
earlier
is...
when you told me to calm down.
Hold on. What does your mean? It means belonging to you.
Possessive.
Your argument.
Possessive of you.
Right.
Possessive of you.
Right. Meaning belonging to you. So if you keep saying
so
your side, your ideology, your people.
You assign with the left.
Hold on.
That's what you.
So
that's
who
what
do you
picked.
mean? Who do you mean when you say your, if it's ambiguous?
That would be ambiguous.
Who are you talking about?
The so-called left.
The left sides with the left? Thank you,
Whoever
Captain Obvious.
it is, I don't freaking...
The left
that's
sides
it.
with the left?
Your.
Okay. Congrats.
That's your.
Thanks, Captain Obvious. We know that. The left sides with the left.
Exactly. That's it. You took it personally.
No, you're just... What you are is a nutcase. By the way, can you prove to me God exists?
Oh yeah. Easy. Without life, there is no life. So where does the unique energy that is life come from if energy like that cannot be created from nothing? Because it cannot be. So the life inside of life that has always would also have to be formed from another source of life, and they can't be continuing into infinite. So that means it has to start from somewhere. So the string theory that connects everything together would be in your sense would be a godlike character that connects everything together.
Okay, so what you're saying is that life exists, right? Life can only exist if a creator made it, and therefore God exists.
If life has always existed, the only way for life to exist is if life always existed. You've proven that life didn't always exist.
Proves that life exists. It does not prove a creator. I'm asking you to get to God. You have to demonstrate that life could not arise through natural processes, right? And you've not.
You
done
have to
that.
prove that it can.
No,
you haven't proven that
you
it can.
Made a positive claim. God exists, right?
I did.
You're treating an unanswered question as proof of your preferred answer. I'm asking you, right?
And you're doing the same.
No,
and
I'm
you
not.
And I'm going to bounce. I'm rubber, you're glue. You literally just did the same thing.
How?
Your preferred answer is that God doesn't exist.
Well, excuse me.
That is your preferred answer. That's it.
Hold on. I'm
That's
agnostic.
it.
I'm agnostic. I didn't say God doesn't exist. I said I don't know. And I said, can you provide me proof exists? And you said life exists.
That's fine.
Life can only exist if there's a creator.
If-
Therefore,
if-
God
if-
exists.
if life
I don't
exists-
need to
if life-
disprove God to challenge this. I'm asking
I
you
didn't
to
say you did.
prove premise 2. You're saying that life's complexity proves that God exists,
And
right?
you're deflecting.
Does life's complexity prove
And you're
that no
deflecting.
natural account is possible? Yes or no?
And you're deflecting.
He won't answer because he can't. They all do this.
I did answer, and I did answer. For life to exist, that means life always existed. If life always existed, that means a being that has always existed exists. God. Like, I answered it. You just didn't want to think about it, or you don't want to acknowledge what I'm saying because it doesn't line up with what you want to hear.
That doesn't show that it must have a creator. You stated it.
Right. Without the structure and the coherence and the perfect, perfect gravity, perfect shape of the earth, perfect distance from the sun, perfect everything, perfect molecular composition for life on the planet. Like all of the elements that have to be.
Okay, do you mean
on this
God?
one
Has
globe,
God always
globe? Across all of the other globes that we've never been able to see anything that remotely even resembles our planet.
Me?
One planet.
What?
One planet. What do you mean? What?
You're not
the
making
blue
any
orb.
sense.
H2O. That's what I'm talking about. Without water, life doesn't happen.
You have to show, right, why life needs a creator, right? That's what you need to show. Provide for me. And you need to also provide why that creator is God.
So you want
none of
aliens?
Those conclusions.
You want aliens from space. Aliens from space. Okay.
Wait, that doesn't prove that God exists. You're
I'm
skipping
following
very
your train of
important
thought.
steps here.
I'm following your train of thought. You said
What
not
is
if
your-
God, then it could be aliens from space. What is a word that we call aliens from space as Christians? Oh, right, demons cast from heaven.
Hold on, let me
So it's
clarify.
this-
Your claim is life exists, right? Life exists, and life
Always
can
existed.
only exist if a creator made it. Therefore, God exists, right? I don't need to
Is that,
disprove
no, that's not what
God to
you didn't
challenge
say
this
anything.
premise.
You didn't even repeat what I said. You didn't repeat what I said.
Okay, what
you
did you
didn't
say? Okay,
repeat
what
what
did
I
you
said. I said, for life to exist, life always had to exist. For life always to have existed, a life has always had to exist. Because it's impossible for life to just not always exist if life has always existed. That means there is an infinite life form that has always existed. Thus, whatever you want to call it.
Still doesn't prove God exists. That still doesn't.
It still doesn't.
It still doesn't. Prove
You don't.
God
You can't
exists.
disprove it. But you can't disprove that. None of your science can disprove that.
Prove it. You have to prove it.
I did prove it. Okay, so let's talk about some of the your mythos. The Big Bang Theory, The Rock.
Said, hold on, I've not made a positive claim. Excuse me. I said
the mythos.
For anyone here, it's you. You would have to rule out those alternatives because you made a positive claim. So
I didn't make the positive claim.
Said
I didn't
God
even say
exists.
anything. I said I voted for Christ, and you went into God exists. And that's all I said. That's all I said. So you questioned my vote.
Exists?
You questioned my vote, but I'm not allowed to question yours.
Now he didn't make a positive claim that God exists.
I did.
This guy's
you just don't accept it. You just don't accept it. That's all it is. And
No,
you're allowed
I do.
to.
You're
No,
just,
you
you're just-
don't. No,
I
you don't.
absolutely
You
do.
don't.
I absolutely do.
You think everybody's a nutcase because I don't even know why. Because you think you're some hierarchy on some plane because you think you're the Neo of the Matrix and you're dodging all the bullets.
Neo of the Matrix.
Oh yeah. Oh, the neoliberals who are neos dodging everything over here in the Mind Flayer because stranger things have happened.
The political spectrum, like you're the one who came in here thinking that to be a totalitarian means that you're fascist.
The infinite propaganda.
You didn't
the
even
infinite
know
propaganda.
that you can be
the infinite propaganda.
You can have a totalitarian government without being a fascist one because you didn't know.
Who said
fascism.
I didn't?
You literally
Who said
tried
I didn't?
to claim that they were the same thing.
I said that they all become it.
No, they
I said
don't.
They all become it.
And I gave you
all of them become it.
Historical examples. Was the Soviet again? I explained to you. The Soviet Union was not fascist, dummy. They were totalitarian, but they weren't fascist. Why is that?
You're not understanding what I'm saying.
Not. Listen, it's not me.
No, you're not.
It's not me who's not understanding. You're just
Yeah,
dumb.
I'm fully understanding you.
Okay, have a
no,
good day.
I'm not.
You're dumb.
Yeah.
I've given you multiple historical examples of why that's not true. Multiple. I specifically said the Soviet Union is an example of a government that was totalitarian but not fascist. They didn't use ultranationalist fascism, ultranationalism being a core tenet of fascism. Do you understand? I'm literally giving you a historical example to prove my point, and you're still rejecting it. Like, I don't understand what, like, Guy, if anyone has any clue what these things mean, you would realize this guy doesn't have a clue what he's talking about. Like, think about it. What about a theocracy? A theocracy could be totalitarian and grounded in religious doctrine rather than fascism. I thought every single totalitarian system was fascist. Are theocracies fascist? No. Dun 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 dun.
Call from
Andrew.
Andrew, are you a Trump supporter?
Not necessarily.
Okie dokie. What does that mean?
It means, what supporter are you? Is my question.
I am a leftist.
All right. You're talking to a guy who hates Trump as much as you, if not more.
Well, there you go.
Right, but wait. Will you at least acknowledge my point of that? But you have to acknowledge the fact that I'm far right.
What?
Does that make sense?
Yeah, I know what you're talking. I know where you're going with this. Yes.
Where am I going?
Doesn't mean we agree. It means you're farther right than Trump.
Well, not really. I don't know how.
Where would you identify on the political spectrum?
Just that I'm really far right and you're far left, and we agree that we hate Trump. Does that make sense?
So the far left and the far right can agree on certain things, right? They can agree that the United States should stop supporting Israel, but for different reasons, for instance, right? The far right thinks we should stop supporting Israel because they're anti-Semitic, right? They believe in racial hierarchy. The left believes we should stop supporting Israel because they are promoting and participating in a
genocide.
In a genocide, yeah. So you understand, like, although they have similar characteristics, they're for different reasons. So it always comes down to why specifically.
So you think I'm racist because I don't want a genocide to happen?
The far right typically includes racial hierarchy, yeah. If not, you're not far right. I mean, the far right side of the political spectrum largely believes in the idea of a racial hierarchy.
What's crazy is, bro, you think we both are supporting the same thing, but you think I'm doing it out of a racial spite?
We would disagree on multiple things. We would disagree economically. We'd disagree on multiple aspects of foreign policy. Maybe we disagree that Trump is bad, but like that you think Trump's bad for different reasons. You want Trump to be more like harsh on these policies. I'm sure you want him to be farther right. I think that Trump is too far right. So just because we say, well, Trump is bad doesn't mean that
you are assuming those things.
Well, if you're on then you may not, then maybe you don't truly understand where you identify on the political spectrum. That's all.
Right. But you're just assuming that I'm thinking, you're assuming my ideology or like my viewpoint, right?
No, well, you said I'm far right. So I generally understand the far right side of the political spectrum.
So what is the way I think, since you assume the way I think?
So the far right would be a more narrow but extreme category associated with authoritarianism, right? Nationalism. That's, I don't think it's not a synonym for conservative.
All right. And if it was a synonym for conservative, then what would that mean? As opposed
it
to
would
being,
mean that you're conservative.
Right. But I asked you, as opposed to being far right, what would the difference be?
That you're fascist.
So what does fascism mean?
Fascism is in a far right-wing, ultranationalist, authoritarian political ideology.
All right. Does that mean that I'm putting my country first or no?
Yeah, but it also means that you believe your country is better than others, and you're willing to make your country better than others by sacrificing the well-being of other people in other countries.
I disagree. Don't you think every... All right, and I don't want to like be...
Because I don't know if you're talking about nationalism or ultranationalism.
I don't know the difference. I just think that first of all, I believe every country should be wanting the best for their country. Would that make sense to you or no?
Yeah, that's nationalism, though. But would you be willing to sacrifice the well-being of other countries? Like, because ultranationalism is just a more extreme form of nationalism. But although you feel you want your best, you want what's best for the country, you treat your country as superior to other countries, right?
No,
and that means
no.
that, hold on, and that means that your country would be entitled to dominate those other countries or exclude those other countries to better your own countries. Like suppression of other countries in the defense of your country, right? Would you be willing to do whatever it takes to make your country better? If not, then you would just be a nationalist, not an ultra-nationalist.
No. Yeah, I would agree with what you're saying, bro. I would say that I would want my country to do the best it can do without fucking over other countries.
Yeah, that's nationalism. That's nationalism.
Right.
Well,
So
I wouldn't even necessarily call it. It's just nationalism. Really, is just there's a long dispute. I don't necessarily believe there's a distinct difference, but that's an entirely different conversation. I think many people who identify as nationalist are actually ultra-nationalist. People who speak openly about how they're say they're a Christian nationalist. They don't say they're a Christian ultra-nationalist. So I don't think there's much of a distinction. But by its definition, nationalism is essentially that you are just loyal to your country, right? And you think that your country should be the political commitment. Now, you may hear me speak and think, oh, well, that should be the case for everyone, right? That's why there's the dispute about whether nationalism is actually toxic, because it's kind of a nationalist idea to stop sending money to Israel. But I also consider like circumstances like the war in Ukraine as something, I'm not an isolationist, and I just find that those that identify with nationalist ideology tend to be isolationist. But it's not always the case. I just think you're just a nationalist by its traditional definition, probably. But that's not far right. That conservatives are largely nationalist.
Right. And everyone, would you agree with this statement that everyone should be for their country doing the best they can do and not doing the worst they could do to other countries, right? Does that make sense?
Yes. Yeah. I
Like,
mean, again,
if
like, yeah.
our country has done shitty
I'm just
things.
saying. Like, I just think it borders too close on ultranationalism, and ultranationalism is like the central tenet of fascism. And I just think that, like, fascist ideology in particular elevates the nation itself above individual human rights, like kind of what we're witnessing now, I think. And
I would agree.
right. And so I find that to be problematic, as it often pairs with like authoritarianism, right? And so I just think that you're like bordering on like a dangerous belief system.
No, I would disagree with that point.
Okay,
Because
do you believe dissent is betrayal?
what do you mean by dissent?
Like, do you think that verbal dissent of the current administration is betrayal?
Like, if you disagree
If I
with
verbally dissent against the current president and I say he's not my president and I speak out against him and do all the things that I normally do, is that betrayal of our nation? Which many people think it is.
Fuck no.
Okay. Well, that's
Why
then
would
then you're not ultra nationalist. You're nationalist.
All right. Well, then I would say that I'm not. Yeah, I'm not ultra nationalist because I don't agree with anyone who is in power. I don't have to agree with anyone who's in power all the time.
That's why I've always said, like, you can't be ultra nationalist and support the Constitution, because how can you feel that verbal dissent is betrayal and support the Constitution, which protects verbal dissent? Right? It doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, because George
but again, here's the
Washington
problem I have with nationalism, and is one of the consequences of nationalism is it ultimately results in ultranationalism, which we've seen here. This progression being nationalist lays the framework for an ultranationalist takeover. If a nation is defined specifically by its race or its religion, right, then other people are treated less American, right, as outsiders. Or more American than outsiders if they were born here, if they're Christian, if they're white. And that ultimately ends up resulting in, ultranationalism, right? Like, when people are nationalists, they typically blame immigrants. We're seeing this from Donald Trump. He identifies as nationalist. Do you think immigrants are the reason for this country's problems? Like, there are certain aspects of nationalism that I think result in, like, they are similar to ultra nationalism and ultimately result in ultra nationalism, right?
I would say that immigrants are the reason this country is a thing. Right?
So
do you agree with that?
Yes. I don't even think you're starting to make me believe I'm not sure you're on the right side of the political spectrum, dude. What makes you believe you're on the right?
Because I believe that a certain thing works, and it's when you're a part of the country. I don't know, man. It's would you?
Are you talking when you're a part of a country, right?
Okay, what I'm saying.
Hold on, I'm saying what I'm trying to say, right? Let me put this in let me put this in modern terms, okay? Donald Trump's Agenda 47, okay? This is largely considered a nationalist agenda. Would you agree?
What did you say, Donald Trump's what?
Agenda 47, his platform.
What is his Agenda 47? What is that?
It was his platform. Did you vote for Trump?
No, sir.
Oh yeah. So it was his platform that it was basically the policies he wanted to implement.
Right.
Well, anyways, that point's not going to make sense if you don't know what that is. But anyway, how old are you?
I'm sorry. I'm 27.
Okay. Listen. I think you're struggling to identify where you are on the political spectrum. So you need to tell me specifically, right? Give me your top 3 issues. What do you think specifically with this country?
We are shelling out our nation to another nation. We do not look out for our own people. And then when we think we are, and we vote for the person we think that is right for our country, they end up, what do you call it? We end up blaming it on Hispanic people or like Mexicans, and then deport them in mass deportation because they're here illegally when they work their ass off for the American dream that they believed in, even though they're not they're not here legally. Does that make sense?
Yep, absolutely. So yeah, I hate to be the bearer of bad news or the bearer of good news. Not that you necessarily fit into one point on a left-right kind of line, but you kind of sound like a leftist. You're at least center left. You're not on the right, dude. You're center to center left at the very least. It depends on what your views are on economics and like civil rights and certain aspects of government, but with a pro-immigrant, anti-scapegoating, right? I believe that you're like center left.
All right. Right. I appreciate you saying that. So would you use that viewpoint for everyone that says they are right wing? Because I say I am, and I believe I am.
You're not.
You know?
It depends on what your economic position is, but I mean, I would just say that, like, based off the facts that you gave me, what are your primary reasons that you vote the way you do or whatever? I would say that specifically makes you seem like you're like center left.
Well, I want to say I appreciate the conversation you're having and the way you're having it with me.
Mm-hmm.
But what is so fucked up to me is, like, I feel like we're like the American people and even the people that are here illegally are not represented, and we're not at the major priority of the government. They're
so
the priority is,
but you don't believe that's leaking out through an immigration system or the presence of undocumented immigrants, correct?
Correct,
Okay.
100%.
So that is a very left-wing position. I hold that position. I'm an activist for the rights of undocumented immigrants and just immigrants in general. And I will tell you that
I
will tell you that
Kentucky.
Pretty consistently on the right, they scapegoat, right? Scapegoating is like a major part of like nationalism and right-wing ideology, right? And anyone who criticizes that is considered disloyal. So you don't really fall on the modern day right side of the political spectrum, in my opinion. But
Right.
I have to get your opinion on. Do you know? Like, here's the thing. I think you're confusing. Like, you can be a patriot and not be a nationalist, right? Patriots love their country, right? And they want to live up to its ideals, but nationalism says that those interests become first, even over human rights, right? And then the danger then becomes when it's defined more narrowly as an ultra-nationalist, and then you get into like denying people their basic human rights, right? Then you start to get into like, okay, now I'm going to suppress those who speak out against it.
No, I would disagree, because I think if you are if you are a person of this country that cares about anyone in this country, you should care about their rights over your country, right?
That's right, brother.
This goes back to our country from day one.
That's right. Yep.
George Washington let the militias come against the country and gun them down, but he still let them bear arms, right? Does that make sense?
Yes. I know, dude. I'm very familiar with
I know.
But
So-
what I'm explaining to you is it's written in our Constitution. It's not up for debate. So
Right.
very clearly, we offer those rights to people who are even undocumented as to not be treated the way that they're currently being treated. So yeah, I would just say there is actually a test you can take if you go online. I would find a credible one. Actually look for one that's actually rated and credible, but you can actually find out by answering certain questions where you lie on the political spectrum. It appears to me that you're trying to navigate through the current political system, and it's not easy because there's so much garbage out there today. But take that test, see where you land on the political spectrum, and then try and find candidates that advocate for something similar and vote for them. I would imagine you're going to fall center left at the very least, depending on where you are economically. But thanks for calling in.
Wait, will you give me 2 more seconds? Two more seconds.
Go ahead.
Say something. Okay, so
Two more questions. Go ahead.
No, just 2 more seconds. I live in Kentucky, and Thomas Massie is a Democrat, right? Did you like him?
Thomas Massie is not a Democrat.
He was, I thought.
No, he's a Republican.
I thought he was a complete Democrat. He went against, like, all Trump shit.
No, he voted alongside Trump 90% of the time. What he went against was the Epstein files. He was the co-author of the EFTA.
Isn't it? What I thought was so funny is he went against Trump with the Epstein files, and he was trying to release them, and then he lost.
Yeah, so he lost what? Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Donald Trump basically, advocated against him, right? Wanted to get him out of there. They wanted to primary him because he was the co-author of the EFTA and wanted the Epstein files released, which Donald Trump has spent the entirety of his term obstructing justice and preventing the release of those files.
Right. And since you said I get one more question.
Yeah, go ahead.
Do you support Israel?
No.
All right. Why? And why does our government get so much money to Israel?
So I don't support Israel because they are an apartheid state, and I don't support any state that systematically oppresses another population. Why does our government what? What was the second part of the question?
I don't know. Our entire government gives so much money to that country, and all of our states give so much money to that country.
Yeah, mostly through PACs,
to do
right?
a genocide.
Yeah,
yes.
Absolutely.
So
I advocate for candidates who don't take AIPAC money. So, for instance, you're only going to see that on the left side of the political spectrum right now. So, if you are someone, well, Thomas Massie might be somebody, but generally speaking, it's mostly on the left in the DSA that are refusing AIPAC money, right? Abdul Al-Sayed is not DSA, but he's a progressive capitalist who rejects AIPAC money. Angie Nixon, who just won in Florida, is another person who reject AIPAC money. So I would just explore candidates on the left, and you might find a real common interest there. All I will tell you is the current administration is authoritarian. They are fascist to their core. By its traditional definition, they meet every single tenet, and we need to do everything we can to make sure they get out of office before they destroy our democratic system. And it may be too late already, but if you don't get on board immediately, we are in big trouble. So I recommend you join the fight.
Do you really think that it's just now happening? Like it's just now we're sold out? Because I feel like
it's not about being sold out. It's not about being sold out. What I think is just happening now is that fascists have utilized the framework that's been established by previous forms of government in terms of tenets of fascism existing previously. I think that we need to recognize not only that the current administration is fascist, but work to create a system that doesn't systematically oppress marginalized populations of people even after Trump is gone. But the first step is making sure that these fascists don't destroy the democracy that we do have, because it's going to be much more difficult to fight back and gain control of that system if they gain complete control.
Right. But my opinion would be that they've already gained complete control, because whether it's the right or the left, it's always on the...
Here's, I'm going to stop you there. Listen. The two sides of the same coin is a very lazy argument that involves zero nuance. There is a lesser of two evils. Democrats are not fascist. There are Democrats that take AIPAC money and support Israel, and that's a major issue. But that doesn't mean that both sides are the same. Okay, for instance, there wouldn't be federal agents in the street right now killing American citizens, killing people in the street. I report on ICE. I'm not sure how familiar you are with my content, but I encourage you to check it out on TikTok in particular.
No, I'm not. What do I look up to get to your content?
Just go to TikTok. Do you have TikTok?
No, I don't believe in TikTok.
Well, if you look on here, just go to my shorts and you'll see videos of it. And then come back and talk to me.
What's your name on YouTube?
Right here, Adam Cray. Didn't you just call me? How do you not know my name, dude?
I did call you.
Right. So
I'm sorry. I'm just trying to look
just
into
go to
it.
my channel.
So
Just
Adam
go to my
Cray?
channel. Yep. Go to my channel. Adam Cray.
Okay.
ADAMCRAI. Go to my channel that you just called in on and look at my
I know.
shorts, and you will see videos of me reporting on ICE and things that I've reported that ICE has done. But there's more on TikTok than there is here, but there's still a lot over here. But thanks for calling in.
No, I'll be happy to look that up, man.
Okay,
I
thanks.
appreciate
Yep.
our conversation.
Yep, take
you
care.
have a good night. all right?
Yep, bye-bye. The problem is, like, you see this a lot with people, is especially people not super educated politically, is they struggle to find where they are in the political spectrum, and he is what I would consider a vulnerable voter. What does that mean? It means that he is vulnerable to the propaganda that the right perpetuates, right? Because there are people on the far right that will tell you they're anti-AIPAC, anti-Israel, but it's really anti-Semitism, right? And they'll tell you that they want what's better for the country, and both sides are the same, and they're representing something that's for Americans only, when really they don't represent what he said was important to him, which is human rights, civil rights, constitutional rights. And they get sucked down this rabbit hole, and ultimately it ends up something bad. Are you a Trump supporter?
Yeah, I am.
Okay, go ahead. I'm getting off soon, but I'll give you a chance. Go ahead.
Yeah, okay. You said that you don't support Israel because they are an apartheid state, right? Correct?
Yes.
Do you support any of the Arab states?
I support the United States.
Yeah, no, I'm just saying like the Arab states because they're all also apartheid states.
I don't support apartheid states.
Okay, so you don't support like Palestine because that's also apartheid.
Really? Who are the Palestinians systematically oppressing?
Well, in Gaza and in the West, in Gaza and in Area A of the West Bank, they don't allow any Jews there.
Listen, you're kidding, right? Their oppressor?
No, I'm serious. I'm sorry?
Said you mean their oppressor?
No, I'm saying they're apartheid because Jews get killed in these areas.
Listen. I know what you're trying to do right now. Clearly, you're a supporter of Israel, but Palestine is not an apartheid state. Okay?
Well, Palestine isn't a state, but the areas that's Gaza and Area A of the West Bank, Jews can't go in those areas. They'll get killed in those areas.
It is not. It does not. The Palestine doesn't exercise sovereign control over the territory, right? So they can't be an apartheid state.
No, they're not a state. I'm just saying that they.
And they can't be an apartheid state if they're not a state.
Yeah, but the other Arab states, they are apartheid states.
Okay. We're talking about Palestine, right? Palestine is not an apartheid state.
No, because you are correct. Palestine is an apartheid state because Palestine isn't a state.
Well, that's
so
what you
correct.
said. So I mean,
yeah.
I don't support apartheid states.
I'm good. Okay, so you don't support it?
No.
Okay. Are they doing a genocide?
Yes.
How so?
Listen, if you don't know the answer to these very obvious questions and it's not YouTube friendly, I don't feel the need to get into it. You know why, right? They've targeted civilians specifically, right? They're systematically attempting to eliminate a population of people. What are the tenets of genocide?
Well, I know one of them. You need a special intent.
Right. Which is what I just said.
Yeah. So how many? So according to Hamas, it was only 73,000 people that were killed.
What are you saying now? You're trying to have a debate about whether or not Israel is committing a genocide? God,
yeah.
This is such a stupid conversation. It's so fucking obvious. Yes, they're committing a genocide.
Yeah, so Yeah, but then they would be the worst I ain't gonna say that word, but I'm saying G-side in history.
Okay, tell me why they're restricting access to food.
Well, they're not. Well, they are allowed to restrict access. No, they're allowed
to. Restricting
Yeah,
food is what I'm talking about. We're talking about specifically restricting humanitarian relief.
Yeah, they are allowed to restrict food for security reasons, number one. And number two, Hamas commandeer a lot of these aid trucks, and they sell it back to the Palestinians for higher prices.
Do you have a source?
Yeah. It's this was reported on multiple sources. Reported by the BBC, CNN. You can go to U.S. Central Command. They reported on it.
Reported what?
Reported that Hamas commandeered
Are you denying the fact that they're restricting access to food?
Yeah, they're allowed to temporarily restrict access. Yes.
Okay, so are you agreeing with me that restricting access to food is a tenet of genocide?
Yeah,
you're trying to argue a point I didn't make, that it's defined by the death total. I'm not saying that. I'm saying the intent is to destroy the entire group of people, which is genocide, right? Can you tell me specifically, about the genocide? Tell me specifically tenets of genocide in terms of the Convention Act.
Okay, so I don't know that much, but I know there's a thing called dolus specialis. So you need like a special intent to show that they're actually trying to commit a genocide. So maybe, I guess, you need some sort of document.
Yeah,
or
the
some
specific intent is to destroy the group, right? In whole.
Yeah, in whole or in part, yeah.
Right. Okay. So what's your point? That's what they're doing.
Well,
what
but you have
Palestinians in Gaza, right, qualify as a protected ethnic group.
Yeah, but nobody said that it was nobody officially labeled it as a genocide. The U.S. did.
You didn't.
No, the UN didn't either.
Again, are you arguing it's a genocide or not?
Plenty
of people have labeled it a genocide. But if you're saying it's not, that's fine. I mean, but plenty of people have labeled it. Multiple organizations have labeled it a genocide.
Yeah, but nobody officially came out and said it was a genocide. I think it was one of the...
Didn't Amnesty International say it was a fucking genocide?
No.
What?
They did.
Hold on. I'm like 90% sure they did.
Neither did the UN, neither. Also, if you think about it, why would they send...
Amnesty International included a comprehensive report published on December 5th, 2024, that Israel is committing a genocide against Palestinians in Gaza, in the Gaza Strip. Key findings in the report: genocidal intent. The Human Rights Organization stated that Israel's military actions demonstrated a specific... Hold on. Oh, sorry, my son's asking me questions here. The Human Rights Organization stated that Israel's military actions demonstrated a specific intent to destroy Palestinians in Gaza. The prohibited acts. The group pointed to mass killings, the infliction of severe bodily and mental harm. Deliberate. The blockade and destruction, complicity. Amnesty International also asserted that Israel's allies, including the United States, risked being complicit in the genocide and called for a halt to arms shipments. So you're wrong.
Okay, let's start with the first claim that Amnesty International...
Why did you so boldly say that they didn't when they did? I'm just curious where you get that from. And by the way, there's other groups that did as well. Let's see. Physicians for Human Rights Israel, Human Rights Watch, International Association of Genocide Scholars, IAGS, Independent International Commission of Inquiry on the occupied Palestinian territory, including East Jerusalem and Israel, stated that Israel was responsible for a genocide in Gaza, finding 4 of the 5 prohibited genocidal acts and intent to destroy Palestinians in Gaza, in whole or in part, exactly what I just said to you.
Well, I want to walk you through. I want
You're
to walk
not
you through
walking
logic.
me through. Listen. Every time
Yeah,
you
yeah,
call,
hold-
listen. I recognize your voice. Every time you call in, I destroy what you say. Every single time. I cooked you yesterday. Fucking literally cooked you.
Okay.
And you
All
don't.
right, congratulations.
Hold on. You don't concede. Did I cook you yesterday?
I have no idea. What did we talk about? I don't remember
Are you
the whole
denying
conversation
I
we talked about yesterday.
destroyed you yesterday? And
Okay,
people can
let's
go
say you
watch it
did.
if you want to listen. And I destroyed
Okay,
you the time
fair
you
enough.
called before that. But you continue to keep calling in, and there's no concession. So why would I have a conversation with you, especially about this topic, when you're not going to concede? You don't know the
Because
tenets.
I can-
What are the tenets of genocide?
Because I want to walk you through instead of you steamrolling.
You're
Let
not
me walk you
walking
through.
me through anything. I'm right. What are the
Then
tenets
let me
of genocide?
Okay, I told you the tenets of genocide will have to be specialized intent and to destroy a population in whole or in part.
All happening. So a
I
protected
could-
group, right? One or more prohibited acts and specific intent to destroy the group in part, right? You're telling me that's not
Yeah,
happening?
and I can. No, I can demonstrate to you that is not happening. I can demonstrate it.
I'm not interested in you demonstrating it. I'm really not.
No, I can actually logically. Why would they release leaflets?
You've
to
yet
commit a genocide?
You've
Who
yet
does
to
that?
win a debate, but I'm not willing to have this conversation because it's not really YouTube friendly in terms of the ads. So I'm going to get ads removed on this video now for you even bringing it up. But
I didn't know that.
regardless, right? Deliberately bombing civilians, torturing detainees, executing prisoners, bombing hospitals and schools, those are war crimes. Now, they're not automatically genocide unless they're committed with intent to destroy that specific group of people,
Yeah.
right?
You're
I would
legally
argue
allowed. Yeah,
that
that's
they
true.
are, okay? No, you're
Well,
not legally
you're legally allowed.
No, you're not. No, you're not.
No, I'm saying
No,
you're legally
No,
allowed
you're
to
not.
bomb a school.
No, you're not.
I can explain.
No, you're not. I don't care what you say. You're not. It's called a war crime. They're war crimes.
It's only a war crime if you don't give a warning, and if it's not being used as a military base, then it would be a war crime. But you're legally allowed to.
Israel's never substantiated these were used as military bases, never once. And the evidence we've
they say
seen
Hamas.
Yeah, and it's not true, right? A warning does not make a attack legal. So you're wrong again. Warning
No,
someone,
you have to warn them. That is,
excuse me. Don't tell me, okay? Warning someone that you're about to commit a war crime does not make it any less of a war crime. Okay? It's still a war crime even if you warn them you're about to commit a war crime. Okay? Just because you're giving them some advanced knowledge, it doesn't matter. You can't deliberately target civilians in war. That is a war crime, plain and simple. The
but
target,
that's not always true.
It is. The target must be a military objective. You can't bomb
If you're a
hospitals
civilian,
and schools. Excuse me.
You can be a collaborator
Excuse
and
me. You don't know
and
what
kill
you're talking
civilians.
about. There are.
Yes, I do.
Okay. Tell me what legal rule is this? What are we talking about?
If you're a civilian, okay, yeah. If you're a civilian and you're collaborating with Hamas, like running to give them if I'm a civilian, I see a rocket on the ground and I'm going to pick up a rocket to give it to a Hamas fighter.
Yeah,
or
I'm talking about
collaborating
the
with Hamas,
Geneva
you are a
Convention,
target.
dude. I'm talking about the Geneva Convention. Specifically, what in the Geneva Convention am I talking about when I say this?
I'm thinking you're talking about Geneva Conventions 4, right?
I'm talking about the protocol surrounding bombing civilian infrastructure.
Yeah, you can legally bomb civilian infrastructure if it's being used as a like Hamas.
You're confusing two different things. So you can give, right, a warning, but what you're making a leap when you say that warning is some kind of loophole, right?
No, not just that.
Yeah, that's what you're saying. You're saying that if you give
No,
a
no, no,
warning, then that makes the strike okay, right? But that's
no, it has to be both.
What?
You have to give a warning, and if it's being used as military operations, that's when you can legally bomb it.
Right. So what's the standard of proving it's military operations?
So if like Hamas, they operate out of hospitals and schools and mosques and things like this. Israel has to drop leaflets or gifts, or they call cell phones. They drop leaflets. They do QR codes. They text message buildings to say, "Hey, we're going to bomb this." That's what they do.
Yeah, I disagree. I've seen the proof, and I don't think they haven't really provided evidence of that. So I'm not sure how you know that.
Yeah, Palestinians literally set up cameras to record the strikes. How did they know it was going to be strikes? Because somebody told them.
That doesn't make it any less of a war crime, as I've already said. You're talking about the Geneva Conventions. I'm specifically telling you, warnings don't make it permissible. Okay?
That's true. You're correct. Of course, you can't just go, "Hey, man, we're going to bomb your house," and then bomb it. No, you can't do that. I agree with that. I'm saying that according to Hamas, their own numbers disproves the genocide, because Israel dropped 500,000 bombs on Gaza and destroyed 80% of the buildings, and they only killed 73,000 people. That don't sound like a genocide to me.
Okay, so right again, you're saying because they didn't kill enough people? What are you saying? I'm not sure what your point is. That it's not a genocide.
They say that Israel's committing a genocide, yet Israel dropped 500,000. That's more than a nuclear weapon. They dropped 500,000 bombs on Gaza, destroyed 80 to 90% of the structure.
It is your burden to prove that a structure is for military use. I'm going back to what I just told you before. Israel has not provided that proof, and a warning does not erase those requirements. So again, I don't know if you haven't been keeping very close track of this, or I don't know what the case, but they've provided very flimsy evidence, right, that these buildings were for military use.
You can watch the buildings for yourself when they.
I've seen it.
Yeah,
I'll give you an instance. Right, there was a hospital. Right, there was a hospital specifically. Right, that was hit, and that hospital, in the basement of that hospital, they showed a bicycle, a chair, and a calendar in which they said was a Hamas calendar. The calendar didn't say anything about Hamas. Literally nothing. And that was Israel's proof that structure was for military use. You're clearly a Zionist, and that's fine. You want to be a Zionist? Go ahead. I'm not going to go back and forth with you on these because you don't concede. I've talked to this. I'm willing to talk to you about regular political topics, but this topic in particular, considering its consequences for my platform and your lack of concessions during these debates, is not productive. Okay, I'm just simply telling you. The claim you made about warnings, right, is not true. Yeah. You can give a warning, right? That's perfectly fine, but that's not a legal loophole to bomb civilian infrastructure. Period.
Of course, but you're only focusing on just a warning. I understand you can't just give a warning and bomb something. That's not what I'm saying.
You did, though, originally. Now you're moving the goalpost.
No, I didn't. You interrupted right when I said to give a warning, and then you said you can't give a...
When you attack these structures, should you attempt to refrain from any civilian harm that would be excessive?
Yeah, you can. Yes, you should do your best to try and do that. Yes.
Okay. Have they done that?
Yes, Israel has done that.
You're delusional. Have a good day. I'm not. That right there is just the end of that conversation. You're delusional. Israel's done their best. Are you fucking kidding me? Indiscriminate bombing, killing kids. I'm not even going to have this conversation. It's too stupid. It's too stupid. Israel's done their best. Stop it. Stop it. Stop it. Just stop. Just stop. It's just too stupid for me to even... Israel's done their best. By the way, Razor Wire Piercing, thank you so much for becoming a member. I'm not sure why that's showing up so many fucking times. Why the fuck is that showing up so many times? I vote to send West to the loony bin. He's honest. What do you expect? Yeah, but the conversation's not even productive. This guy never concedes either. I'm fine with talking to him about regular political topics, but I'm not going to go back and forth about this. The fact is very obvious. And then he said Palestine was an apartheid state. What the fuck are you talking about? How are they an apartheid state? Like, that right there is when I knew this guy's just going to keep throwing out misinformation and wait for something that I might not know, right? And I'm not super versed on this issue like I am American politics. Obviously, I know about it and I keep track of it to a degree, but I don't keep track of it as closely as I do some of these other topics. So he's going to keep throwing misinformation out. Israel has participated in large-scale killings of innocent people. All right, they participate to conditions that threaten human life. They starve people. There's been restrictions for aid and humanitarian stuff. They've repeatedly moved people, mass displacement, which is a core tenet of genocide, into unsafe conditions. I'm not going to keep arguing something that's so easily proven wrong. Guys, I'm going to pop off here. I appreciate you. Been on here long enough. Appreciate you guys. Love you. Hope you have a wonderful day. Would appreciate you guys tapping the screen, hitting the like button. If you guys, I don't know how many people contributed to the gifting goal today, but thank you to everybody who did. If you guys do support me, you can support also in the link tree in my bio. Yeah, would appreciate it. Yeah, I don't know why he said apartheid state. He said they're not a state, but they're an apartheid state. But yeah, I think what he was actually going to say is that then why do you support Iran? I don't support Iran. I don't support the Iran war. I'm pretty sure that's where he was going, but I don't know. Anyway, love you guys. Appreciate you. Thanks so much for calling in. Maybe if he was the first caller, I'd carry it on, but there was just too many callers before him that used my energy up. But love you guys. Thank you so much. Go back and watch the live if you didn't see the Michael Cohen interview. Oh my God, you need to watch it, folks. You have to watch the beginning of the live. Gross. But love you guys. Take care. Appreciate everybody for supporting. Thank you so much. I'll see you guys tomorrow morning. If you're coming on TikTok in the morning, type YERP in the chat. I want to see some YERPs in the chat if you're coming tomorrow morning on TikTok for the live. And I will see you then. Take care, everybody. Let's get some YERPs if you're coming tomorrow morning. Bright and early. Get your coffee out. Bust into the live and watch the incels.